Yeah, look, on behalf of the club, we're just incredibly thrilled and excited that our women's team have this opportunity. Obviously, play for the domestic trophies and go as far as we can, but these are incredible opportunities for players' careers to play these international type tournaments, and we're thrilled to be part of it and hope for all our fans and for football in Australia we can take it further and be successful.
And Beau, is there anything you want to add from a PFA perspective?
I think over the course of this year, we've seen how incredible the team is that Michael's put together. So it's a real opportunity for Australian football fans to see this team that's doing incredibly well, tested against the best in Asia. It's also a really important moment. We've seen some really magical moments for Australian football here in Melbourne, and our hope is that we can start this journey in the Asian Champions League on the right foot, get the best possible crowd and really show the country what the women's game can be here.
Fantastic. Right, start over to any questions. Joe, if you want to kick us off.
Brad, I guess from a Melbourne City perspective, what sort of opportunity does this present the club? You win this, you move into the semi-finals, the Women's Champions League, the opportunities that provides. There are also maybe Club World Cup qualification opportunities that come with that. What sort of opportunity is this for Melbourne City?
Well, I think first and foremost it's about the team and the players being able to, it's the dream of any players to play internationally and to go as high as they can, as far as they can on an international stage. So I think that's probably the number one thing. Certainly for fans is massive for us to give fans a taste of success and be part of that journey with us. But yeah, no doubt I think any international tournament is a global stage and it helps raise the profile of all the girls and our coaches, and we've had great success already with our coaches being recognised globally and being offered gigs overseas, and so all of that helps put our brand and our map, our team, and also the A-League on the map as well.
And I guess, Beau, from a broader Australian football perspective, you do work in Asia with FIFPro as well as the PFA. What sort of growth opportunities does greater integration into women's football in Asia offer Australian football?
I think ultimately it allows us to accelerate the growth more swiftly. It creates a point of difference to our rivals, whether it's AFLW, NRLW here as well too, so allows our players to test themselves at that high level. A lot of these players, I'm sure every single one of them want to follow in the footsteps of Holly and others to become national team players, and this gives them a chance to be able to taste that and prepare for hopefully a long international career, but also to continue to push the level up of the A-League women's as well.
Brad, this quarter-final, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but significant prize money available in this tournament. Could you just set out how significant it is in financial terms, if possible, for the players and the opportunity that's presented by this tournament?
Yeah, look, it's all brand new territory. In the past, it's actually been terribly difficult for all the teams because we're actually the costs of hosting other teams here. And the host club actually foots the bill, and when you go overseas it's also very expensive to play in those tournaments. So in the past it's always been you come back at a net loss, even if you go fairly deep into the tournament. So it is transformational in terms of the recent changes with prize money. Look, we haven't got you there, but all I can say is that you need to go a long way to actually before you get in a positive anyway, just because there's inherently a lot of costs to go with it. If we can wash our face with it, it's fantastic. But the main thing, as I said before, is to have our players have the opportunity to go and compete in those sorts of tournaments.
What are the calculations for the players? How much might this be worth to them?
I think if they were to go all the way through to and actually win the tournament, which certainly we believe they're a good chance, anyone that's watched and played at any match this season would attest to that. So it could be as much as sort of $50,000 per player. If they were able to get to the final and win the competition, that would obviously be hugely significant for players. We're talking about the sort of average A-League women's salary at the moment is under $30,000. So that's sort of a significant increase for those players and will allow them to invest more time into the sport, but also importantly for clubs like Melbourne City, allow them to continue to attract and retain talent, which ultimately we're all in a battle for. So it's important, and as I said a little bit earlier, it also gives us a point of difference and another important revenue stream for the game to be able to ensure it can invest into the careers of players as well.
What's the buzz in the change room? It must be a bit more excitement that there's a serious prize money.
Well, to be honest, I didn't know those figures. I'm not sure if all the girls know those figures. But yeah, look, I think for me personally, we have our staff and our analysts doing a lot of work on it, but we have a couple of games before that match. So once we play Adelaide in 2 weekends, then I'll be shifting my personal focus, and I'm sure the girls will shift their focus on for the lead up to this match. But it is exciting. So it's a domestic international competition to play in the first inaugural women's A-League, women's Champions League situation is great. So, and like we've seen so far, we're quite competitive in all our matches, and we're going to give it our absolute best. So to play home is going to be a great spectacle in front of our fans, and we hope we get a good support from not only them but around Australia as well, supporting us, and I think it's great for the code.
How do you go about scouting a Taiwanese women's side? Is the footage on Y-Scout? Where do you go for your
Their league is actually on YouTube. So they're in the off season at the moment, so they haven't played a competitive match for about 3 months. So we'll get their exact squad probably in the next 7-8 days. So who knows if they're signing any new foreigners. We know it's the same manager at this stage, so maybe they might play the same way, but for us we need to be ready for whatever gets thrown at us. Like any match really, you can prepare as much as possible, but the coach and the team might throw different tactics come game day. So we'll be prepared, we focus on what we can control, keep trying to improve, and be ready for what comes.
Because it won't be the first time several of their squad are on Amy Park either, will it? Because they were here with Chinese Taipei to play the Matildas.
Yeah, last time they had about 7 international players playing for their club side. So yeah, they got good experience. They've been here before, and they're coming, I think, 3 or 4 days prior to the match. So they're taking this very, very seriously, as they should. So it should be a good test.
Brad, Amy Park, I understand it's a requirement for AFC to have the game here or at a venue that meets broadcast requirements. But great opportunity. What is the record crowd for the women's team at your club? And this must be, a real opportunity to set a new record.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're thrilled that it's here. So the requirements for a venue for this competition is quite stringent with broadcast quality lighting and all the requirements required to run the competition. So there's not many venues in Victoria that can actually host it, but we're delighted Amy was available because it's where our girls play, and so it gives them, I think, a really distinct home ground advantage. And to your point, the more people we can get, the more young girls, the more participants, the more grassroots kids coming along to watch it, the better, because we really want to create that home atmosphere. And we have no idea, because it's a bit unprecedented what crowd would get, but we certainly want to get as many people in here to make as much noise as possible to make it really feel like home.
I think just to build on that point, recently I was in camp with the Matildas, and this is something we discussed with the players around how important this opportunity is. So this is something that a number of the Socceroos we've discussed with the Matildas as well too, and they see this as a really important moment for the sport, and this is something that they're certainly hugely supportive of. A number of them will be doing videos and the like to be able to promote and drive attendance to the match as well too. So everybody, I think, within the sport recognises how important this is, and it's really great to be working together and doing this, and also doing it with a club that really, when they came in the A-League Women's, really elevated the level as well too, and it's an important reward for them. We want to make sure the players have a crowd that actually matches the occasion.
Michael, for people that maybe might not know how many Matildas are in Sydney side, or the players that are very close to the Matildas, can you just take us through a few of the players that have played for Australia recently and some of the names that maybe new fans should be looking out for?
Yeah, I think Holly is someone that was just in the recent squad, and then I think we have another 4 or 5 that are sort of on the fringes, been in and out squads the last 6 or 8 months. So I think, we have obviously Carly, who's been in there before. Leah Davison is another one. Laura Hughes got her first cap in the last about 6-7 weeks ago. And then there's a number of other players that are fighting to sort of prove their worth, to try and get a cap and get an opportunity to play at that level. So, look, the most important thing is the players are trying to do their best and improve week in, week out. And then the national selectors are going to be always looking. But these type of opportunities to play in Asia obviously helps the profile of the players as well, and potentially get some moves abroad to bigger and better leagues as well, which helps their profile. And helps their chances to maybe get into the Matildas, because majority of the squad do play overseas.
And you got Kiwi legend Rebecca Stokes as well.
We definitely do. So she's definitely a legend, but she's still got a lot of legs left. So and we've got TJ as well that plays for Serbia. So yeah, we've got a good balanced squad. So for me, when I came in, the squad was basically already selected, and I think we've been able to do some really cool things so far this year, and yeah, may that continue.
Chris, just on that, what you've accomplished so far, Michael, you're looking at it in avoid defeat this weekend. You set a new record in the A-League women for longest undefeated run. You're suddenly staring down the barrel with this competition of a treble, which a club has literally never been able to do before because they haven't had the opportunity. What would a treble mean to this club? Premiership, Championship, ACL glory?
Yeah, well, it's the first. That was one of our goals in the beginning of the season. Something that we set based on the players driving those ambitions, and it's a very ambitious group. So that's something we've spoken about and then parked. And then we just worry about what we can control, which is the next training, the next match, and making sure that we're improving as a collective and individually to make sure every game we're very difficult to win. And there's a distinct City style that we want to play as well. So I think we're doing quite well. Can we improve? I think yes. But we're very hard to beat, and I think we've been quite consistent this year. And now it's about continuing to stay focused on what's ahead. So we try not to think about any sort of records. They're always there, noise in the background, but it's definitely something I'm not speaking about. And if we break it this next match when we play, whether that's Brisbane, it's been postponed now, so we'll see when we're going to play that match. But if we can get that record, great. But otherwise, we're looking to lift trophies. So if you told me we lost the match and won the rest, and we lift the Premier's plate, then I'll probably take that off you.
There's space in the trophy game.
We'll take one or two more and then we'll get the girls in.
Because Brad, Melbourne City came into the league. Obviously, you raised the standards with your investments in facilities and the like. Michael's good side are trying to break the record the club already holds. You're now the first club to play ACL football, women's ACL football. Just what sort of investment and commitment has Melbourne City made into its women's program, and how are you looking to grow that into the future to go alongside these accomplishments?
Yeah, look, from the clubs, from the inception of when we first had a women's team, we didn't even want to start a women's team until we could provide equal facilities to the men's team. So when we could do that, we had the facilities to do that, then we introduced our very first team. And it's been really important for us right from the outset to make sure that whatever facilities, what sort of program, what sort of medical services, what sort of support services we have for both, it's the same for both. And I think that's a real key part of it. That and it's also, you know, the calibre of people we employ and look for, like Michael, to be coaches and staff around the women's team is incredibly important as well. So I think that's more where our investment is, and it's not just facilities, but the type and the number of people you need to run a sort of top flight program. So and I think that's investment, and I think you know, it's paying dividends now. But you know, the greatest thing, which I tell Michael about as well, is we're really big on character, and the character of the girls we have at the moment is absolutely incredible. It's one of the best. I've been working in sport for 22 years, and it's one of the best teams I've ever seen in terms of that culture and character.